Many people talk about how important it is to remain in the present, to live in the moment. Instead of that, I'm going to ask you, for one moment, to think about the future. What type of planet do you want your children, grandchildren, or maybe even great-grandchildren to live on? I'm sure you didn't imagine a world of food shortages, wildfires, and record-setting hurricanes. But with the track we're on right now, that just might be the reality. The emissions of greenhouse gases by the burning of fossil fuels for energy has greatly contributed to global warming and climate change. Solar panels can reduce the amount of greenhouse gases produced and thus directly benefit our planet and curb climate change. After researching climate change, its causes, and how solar panels can reduce those, I feel as though I have the information to share those things with you today. Let's begin by assessing the problem. Climate change negatively affects our planet. According to a NASA article, Dan Stillman and Jocasta Green state that climate change is what it sounds like. It simply is a change in the usual weather that is found in a certain place. This change could be a rise or decrease in temperature, increased or decreased rainfall, and even stronger hurricanes. According to the article, Global Climate Change, Vital Signs of the Planet, written by the Earth Science Communications team at NASA, the greenhouse effect is what contributes to global warming and climate change. It is also what makes life on Earth sustainable. The greenhouse effect is when energy coming from the sun has passed through the Earth's atmosphere and then is absorbed by those greenhouse gases. The energy that is absorbed is then returned as heat to the Earth's surface. There are 5 greenhouse gases: water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and chlorofluorocarbons. As the amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere increase, so does the greenhouse effect, and thus global warming and climate change. So how do we know that these greenhouse gases are contributing to climate change? By simply taking a look around, we can uncover compelling evidence for climate change. According to NASA, the evidence is as follows. Global temperatures has risen, the oceans have warmed, the ice sheets are shrinking, glaciers are retreating, snow cover has decreased, the number of extreme weather-related events have increased, and the oceans have become more acidic. The Earth Science Communications team states that scientists have high confidence that global temperatures will continue to rise for decades to come, largely due to greenhouse gases produced by human activities. In an article, How Will Climate Change Affect the U.S. in Decades to Come?, Donald Weebles, David Fahey, and Kathy Hibbard explain what our future will look like if we do not make a change. Coastal flooding will increase, which is a direct impact of melting land ice. This creates daily tidal flooding that affects many people living on Atlantic and Gulf Coast cities. Precipitation will continue to increase also, especially in Northeast and the Midwest. This directly impacts us, as flooding is something that has occurred in the past and would continue to occur to an even greater extent if the trend in climate change remains unchanged. Heat waves, droughts, and forest fires will all become more frequent. California has had a record-setting year regarding forest fires, so we can only imagine what their future looks like if we don't change the path we're on. Even the frequency and intensity of hurricanes are expected to increase. Now that we know what climate change is, let's talk about why it is happening at such an astounding rate. A large contributor to climate change and global warming is the burning of fossil fuels for energy sources. When burning fossil fuels for energy, the main concern is the release of CO2 that adds to the greenhouse effect. According to data from the United States Environmental Protection Agency, the most emitted greenhouse gas in the U.S. is carbon dioxide. This is in direct correlation with the way that we obtain our energy. According to a 2018 article from the Energy Information Association, in 2017, emissions of carbon dioxide by the U.S. electric power sector were 1,744 million metric tons. Let's take a look at some additional data from the EIA to determine which energy sources contribute the most. As you can see, coal is the main contributor at 69% of the sector's total emissions. That gives off 1,207 million metric tons of carbon dioxide. This is again confirmed by an article from the Center for Biological Diversity by Cassie Siegel, where she states that because of its high carbon content, coal emits more CO2 than any other fossil fuel when it is burned. Coal combustion worldwide is the #1 contributor to the human-made increase of CO2 in the atmosphere. So now we know what the problem is and why it is occurring. What can we do to make a change? Installing solar panels to your home can help reduce the amount of CO2 emissions and thus the amount of greenhouse gases. A 2015 article from the Union of Concerned Scientists explains how solar panels work. They use a combination of the photoelectric effect and semiconductors to convert energy from the sun into energy that we can use. According to an article from the Solar Energy Industries Association, in the last decade, solar energy has experienced an average annual growth rate of 59%. Because of this, solar energy offsets more than 76 million metric tons of CO2 emissions each year. The SEIA also states that the cost to install solar panels has dropped by more than 70% since 2010, from more than $40,000 to almost $17,000 today. In a 2017 article from the U.S. Green Building Council written by Taryn Holokwa, she states that there are quite a few benefits to installing solar panels. A huge perk to going solar is that you can virtually eliminate your energy bills, because energy from the sun is free. This also helps to offset the initial cost of installing the solar panels. You can earn tax credit and rebates after installing a solar energy system, and better yet, they increase the value of your home. Not only will solar panels be good for your pocket in the long run, they will also benefit the environment. Today, I have shared with you what climate change is, why it is happening, and what you can do to offset that. One way that the public can help reduce the amount of greenhouse gases is to install solar paneling to their homes or businesses. Many people have already committed to clean energy. Will you?